conversation. So I told her, okay, let's catch up after lunch. We will get spare time during lunch. And walked in. It was almost time for the panel discussion. I came in. How did you like it? If this is not a story, what is a story? I could see level of people who were talking happy, or something is going to happen. This what story I didn't mean the girl. There was no sorry, disappointing you. But this is how shift happens in the moment a story is written. So these are stories you can see. And on the media says how stories will definitely try to figure it out. We all of us virtually know which stories, right? Different stories, fables, fairy tales, movies, lot of versions of stories, right? From childhood. Stories have engaged us, enlightened us, educated us, entertained us, and all other words starting with E. That's the sheer power of stories, and no wonder minds are using stories day and day, because that is the only way people can be engaged. People as in this class of 18 to 30. We listen even other ways, because we are talking on abstract things, so listening to that also. But you are merciless. You will not listen unless engages you. So we as faculty, our challenge is that of engaging students. So an academic level words for the media even more critical. Ranks very critical, because if they don't get the requisite number of eyeballs, if they don't get the requisite number of attention, the brand doesn't move forward. And this big thing called ROI. How many of you are aware of it? Yeah. That will not taken care of unless there is a quality attention from audience. So this purpose, 20 minutes time is granted to me, Dr. Anisha Aron, the principal for me. Yeah. Anisha, please free to all Nasser, sir. Please convey, because I have a tendency sometimes to keep talking. Yeah. 10 seconds. Yeah. Please.
You told that story. It is really interesting for us. For these guys minimum 3% in that's a big story and interesting. Now what is going on here?
I think the way our talking is very minimum. The dramatically come later with the story. I just want to test the waters of it. Can we have the PowerPoint? Not because what I'm talking is high-tech. It's not astrophysics or rocket science. But I'm just talking about sequence the flow of thoughts, just to give a natural flow, a graceful flow. So this is our subject today. The power of storytelling in the OTT era. Any of you in the audience who doesn't know what OTT is? My God, don't even ask. That's more known than the academic portions we cover. I have a PowerPoint here, so I don't have around the time back. Too lazy to look back. Next slide. So first thought is why draw use this word story? Is there any way this word story can be called an narrative, can be called an episode, can be called a description? Why special word story? Does you have any thoughts on that? Day in and day out, we get a story. What Pallavi spoke how stories in journalism, all media subjects have stories. Brand management, in change, so you have publications, advertising, the content, what we get from the brand, from consumer story, right? Why always word story? it's very interesting. Why not? Let's join why it is called the story, or why the story is being used. So we have all these things, advertising and all the other subjects. Next slide. What are the ingredients of a good story? We know this. Again, no place for guessing. But I'm just taking stock of moving along all of you. See what stories hold so special. Right? So of any story, any story actually. But let us assume for a good story, these ingredients are going to be there. Next slide. A story has to have gripping, engrossing, arresting, attractive narrative. It has to flow. It has to move. It has to have ups and downs. It has to have ups and downs. All these things are part of stories. I'm just trying to sum up the thought on what stories are all about. Nothing again a mystery. All good stories will have a narrative, which has got a natural sequence, natural flow, graceful. Understood? Agreed? You have any contradictions on that? Please feel free to interrupt me. Just like next. All stories, irrespective of the nature of the story, characters are mostly human. It can be animals. So Panchatantra. The characters are animals, which are used for demonstrating or highlighting morals, the principles that you follow in life. But there are going to characters, irrespective of the size of the story, nature of the story, and the medium, whether it having visual, whether it happens in audio, whatever, everything will have a sort of set of characters. Yeah, either it can be Shah Rukh Khan, or it can be some ordinary. But they have to take a lot sort of ups and downs. That is the thing we need to really look at. Next. This is our way of friends. Emotions. Whether you talk of hatred, whether you talk of jealousy, whether you talk of profession, talk of romance, everywhere, all about emotion. And if you're making a television film, I'm a filmmaker, not television, not ad films, but I make ad films. So, in fact, the first movie is on Instagram today. So I want to share it. It's called Pride of Dance. It's about dance. So it's on Instagram. Invite all of you to see that. So emotions are part of any movie, especially the once you management journalism also you have to generously use emotions. Vincent sir, right? Your stories are about portraying a lot of emotions. You just say that one bus sort of ran 20 people. You need not so much that just to attract the necessary attention. You should really portray a lot of emotions. I have something to. It's for the whole audience as well as my fellow panelists, all here and the esteemed faculty members of Nitte. You come across two words. One is story, and on the other side you have a word called content. Yeah. You get to hear these maximum. You don't get to hear the word story much. It is content. For me, my personal opinion, I don't insist that you agree with me. For me, content is a dispassionate word. There's no emotion in content. Stories have emotion. I mean, I don't insist that you agree with me. Probably you know, sir, it's not like that. Because for you, content is closer to your heart. That's what you have grown up with. Whereas we are from an era where the word story has used so much in journalism. So stories imply that it touches the deepest possible thoughts in your mind. And these are, dear friends, these are needed brand management. And advertising commercial has to carry this. Otherwise you can't look at it. Did any of you get a chance to see Air ad? That's 1 minute plus. It is an ad. It's also like a PR coverage. It masquerades a PR coverage. It's actually an advertisement. Did any of you have a chance to see that? Long commercial. But brilliantly it has portrayed what the brand is all about. A small carpenter and she makes toy planes for his son. And they show this. Just have a look at the commercial. You will feel the impact instantly. Air and the brand saying what they trying to through that ad work beautifully because of the story part. It really shows along audio visual, the power of an audio visual presentation. It was a marvelous experience. How his son goes on to become a pilot. How he sends a ticket to the father who is underage, and how the father flies. Air brand was like that. Anybody can fly. The tagline itself was simply fly. Anybody it's not for an exclusive few who are affluent. It is for anybody to fly. And that message is so beautifully. So how can you think of anything else which will convey the brand message? Yeah, there are hundreds of examples. Time for me to touch upon a few of those. So emotions, all types of emotions, ups and downs. It's not the same emotion from beginning to the end. The emotions will changing in the course of the story, moving forward. Right. Agreed. Next slide. This is typically how a story appears in front of us. Initially, there is a plateau. There's plain portion where there are I would say there will be a set of facts. They establish a lot of things as down facts to start with. What type of person the main character is, the protagonist, what type of villain is, all those things are established first. What type family are there, all those things established. Movie making, short film making, any audio visual is establishing in the first part establishing comes. Things are all fine. Normally most of the movies are like that, very family. A husband who wears a suit, he'll be a government clerk, but the attire here and the job will not have any connection. And the heroine wears a coat, and they're supposed to be good people. Hindi, that's how serial killers as they are called. So then what happens within the movie? I'm primarily about a movie of any size. Any story is true. But particularly about a movie, you can actually this happening. You can really see it happening with your eyes. So there is a change of emotions. There is a conflict. It can be called a conflict also. What happens? Things go wrong, and there are things not working out. Somebody falls in serious trouble and all those things. Things can't be smooth. Then there's no story. So how challenges coming into their lives, how people are upset and how they are not tackle the situation. All those things come, which will be a build up, change of emotion, and finally there will be a climax point, which is otherwise called crescendo. Crescendo is a top point, the highest possible note. And here after that there's a conclusion, takeaway, and that is typically movies or a story fans. Any differences in thinking about typically this is how a story manifests in front of your eyes. Right? Yes or no? Let's move on. I'm just trying to tell you the features of movies. This mobile phone doesn't stay on one page. Again, open it. And what finally next. What finally comes is a conclusion. I like to call it something that take from something, or a takeaway. shout out. Video. No price for guessing. You watch, consume only video. Other channels, other tones of communication are sadly trying to get attention. And reading is the last thing. If you are forced to read something at gunpoint, maybe you will read. But it will be a big joke to see some reading newspapers. I mean, that's our Ramana idea. So there is in the case of a brand message, what will be the takeaway? That will be the brand message. That will be the brand US or what the brand is trying to tell the consumer. It can be a story, it can be an ad, it can be a podcast. All these things finally gives you a conclusion, which has to be brand, and it has to be really go through. Believe me, if you come to know that the brand is talking about itself, you may repel it, you may not like the idea. It has to be done in such subtle packaged fashion that it has to appear spontaneously, and the message has touched your subconscious instincts, not directly. And that is typically how brand messages manifest. Right? So we move on. Next slide. Power of visuals. Do you agree visuals are the most powerful thing that register things so impactful? Do you all agree? If it is yes, please say yes in a loud fashion. Yes. Okay. Something to start with. Visuals. Do you agree that there are visuals? I say there are visuals in every story. It doesn't have an audio visual. In a radio spot, there is a visual. How many of you agree? Sir, I can see you hands. When somebody is relating story, sitting at the story, there are visuals. How many of you agree? It is so. I'm happy to see hands go up one after the other. There is a visual which is being formed in my mind. Irrespective of whether there is one outside there. As a story is being communicated, conveyed to you, your mind starts generating visual. That's the power of story. That's the one which actually puts the brand message across. Right? You, for example, you hear a radio spot. It's on radio. You can't see anything. You suddenly hear this clicking of tires. Ooh, like that sudden break and dashing sound. One vehicle hits another vehicle. These don't need any explanation. You know that one villa is on crash is lorry. And get on. Swear again. What? Are you blind? Can't you drive properly? All those things will be happening. You can really visualize things happening in front of your eyes. That is the power of visuals. And any message visuals, audio visuals especially, are so powerful in registering messages. I don't think I need any reference point at all. Right? So power of visuals, power of creating a visual through a story, especially for brand management. Let's next slide. Every interesting night is the story of my friends. Right at the time you get up in the morning, go for a stroll. You meet one of your friends after 6 years you are meeting a friend of yours. Where are you, man? I've not seen you for ages now. I just came back. You had Nagpur. What happened? Yeah, Nagpur only. I just came for a holiday. And you were supposed to get married at that time. 6 years back. You were talking. I married. And you know things happen. A story starts unfolding. Brilliant story. And that is my message. You have so many instances which can be called stories, but you don't realize they are stories. What do you see in a cricket match? It's a story happening in front of your eyes. Yeah. I know many of you not agree. Think about it. You will realize that there is a start, there is a emotions, there is a conclusion, there is a game. All these things are there. Right? So that is the very interesting super arresting narrative called a story. Next. Why are stories considered? What are the reasons for us to consider stories? Next. Primarily for engagement, not engagement, for creating engagement. Stories create engagement much better than any form of what you call text being told out, either a speech or any form, or even as a commentary. Politicians also those who are desperate about our listening to them. They also tell a lot of stories about the other government failing miserably and his government doing well. Their stories only fictitious. But that is needed. Engagement is possible only through stories. Underline. If anyone wants to challenge this, please meet me after they meet. I would love to really on that discussion. No form of communication can reach more than a story does. Right? So engagement is the starting next. Of course, along with that, I told you there are a lot more HK and entertainment. I've not mentioned interest and engagement results in lot of interest in the conversation, and it also a lot of excitement. It happens, right? Next. A powerful model message. Do you think model goes through when you watch a powerful film? Yes. No. It does. I'm straight three movies Amir Khan. Three all same actor. I watch movies only now that for Amir Khan movies. You speak of Dangal, you talk of Three Idiots, and you talk of Taris, yes, that's a mister. Dangal, Lagan. What it is, how the conviction, and how he wants to win. Dangal, again, consistently and effort and these messages are so conveyed by that movie. And what do they have? The most powerful cast, the best possible director, the best possible sets, the best possible depiction. All these things have to combine to make a movie that remembering. My narrative is most audio visuals that is Max creativity stuff. I don't mean to say that other efforts are not creative. But here the type of creativity is really, you need to use human levels of creativity. Right? So these movies, Three Idiots especially. What is the tagline? If you take Three Idiots, all is well. And what it says, what finally tell you? Follow your passion. Don't get something because don't computers because your parents tell you to do. If you are interested in it, do it. This comes so beautifully from it. That's the sheer power of story, classy storytelling. Right? So message or impact, and let's briefly examine how this manifests for an brand. All these brands actually is what I spoke about. But let's see one or two brand studies. Any of you seen the promotions of a brand called Riva of Tanishq? RIVAAH. See how beautifully it is conveyed the Indian traditions and the use of jewelry in Indian weddings. It's so brilliantly conveyed. So the brand goes effortlessly goes through. They don't talk about the jewelry. Danish name I don't say no. But it's about the tradition, how jewelry, and it's about father-daughter love, which is so much celebrated in India, and Indian will appreciate it. Irrespective of caste, religion, anything. Parents, the dad is close to the daughter. I'm sure all is related. So these things convey the message so impactfully, right? And let me sum up or close with one brand which all of us know. All of us. I don't think I need to mention a second time. It's known all Indians. Okay, let me the suspense to the next. brand is mentioned in the. So brand stories means about the reels, what you see, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 20 seconds, they tell a story. They give that's a storytelling highest order. The costume, the expressions. In 5-10 seconds, they really communicate the story. Radio commercials, very powerful. PR coverage, what is a PR coverage? It's about taking the brand to people's hearts. It is not just about moving the product or doing brand development. It is about develop bond with consumers. That is why PR is more important than advertising. Advertising is about a person talking about himself, a brand talking about himself or herself. But PR is about media talking about the brand, which is more important. And PR coverages are, they talk about CSR, service angles. That highlight become very close to that brand. So we are talking about a brand which is how many of you heard of this brand Maggi? I don't think you heard of it. Nestle Maggi. You heard of it. All of us use Maggi. Because of the age, it started as a children's brand. Only children. And now the entire population eats Maggi, right? It was started as a snack option. Now it is taken for breakfast, lunch. Sorry, any conscious people, sir? Yeah, just 2 minutes I'm winding up. So Maggi is a brand which did excellent work and it became very close to the heart. Soon after it got launched. In 83 it was launched. And within the span of 4 to 5 years, the brand became so popular, right? And the initial activities were just confined to giving a lot of Maggi packets here and there, sampling and things like that. They didn't use any extensive advertising for that. And in between, of course, the brand ran into a lot of problems and they had to capture the ground back. And when they completed 25 years, that is from 83 plus 25, 2007, they had an activity called Me and My Maggi. It was a campaign to be remembered. It was actually an ad thing, but used public relations in an ad. So what they did was Maggi communicated all the entire Maggi users all over India, telling some special experience of theirs with Maggi. And many people responded. Thousands of people responded. What these people did was they selected a few, 10 employees all the received, and they made it into an ad. And it was mind-blowing to see what they featured as a television commercial, which showed talking about some of the one girl aged 25 years said I was born in the year Maggi was launched, 83. And I started using Maggi when I was 5 years old. Maggi was the dish I cooked by my mother's help. And now I take Maggi to the country and I travel making Maggi. Some people celebrate they celebrate a packet of Maggi. Some people say, this is the gift we give. This is a special gift our family. Maggi had some hampers. Those are special gifts in the family for special occasions. And a lot of instances, Maggi felt so special by people. People recounting their experience with Maggi, which was highlighted in the television commercial. What better way of connecting consumers? What is better than what is PR than this? So this is the enormous, I would say, phenomenon of storytelling. So this is what is happening in the industry now. This is what we are trying to harness. And no media use them stories to engage consumers who are 18, not 31, not 70. That's the youngsters. So for most of the brands are directed at you people. Most of the premium brands at you as primary customers. This is the best way to engage. I honestly hope and glimpse of what of storytelling stories. Thanks a lot. Wonderful.
I would say it was a wonderful presentation. We have very question, but we will reserve them to the end. Now I invite my friend, my friend, and not profitable. So typically, advertising revenue shifts from income from print media significantly decline as advertisers shift budget from traditional to digital channels. This has forced media houses to have retrenchments and salary cuts. So this happened. This was happening since the last one decade. But no, COVID had COVID time was the worst time for the media. Staff students and salary cuts, was rampant and nobody could question that. So we all quite it happened in our organization, unlike other organizations. So competition media. So the rise of online portals and social media platforms provides instant access to information and digital media outlets. Digital media offers immediate interactivity, which can be difficult for print media to match. Social media platforms become the major source of news and information, further impacting print media leadership and advertising revenue. So how to adapt to digital media? So these are the challenges. So what is the way out? I think the first and foremost thing the media to maintain the credibility. In the age of fake news and misinformation, print media outlets maintain the credibility and trustworthiness to retain readers. So misinformation, fake news, lot of fake news and misinformation are embedded in social media. It's not a secret. So print media has retained that credibility. Not all media, but to a certain extent, print media has been able to retain that credibility. I think to remain to stay in the business, I think they should focus more on credibility and trustworthiness. Also, they should emphasize on ethical reporting, objectivity, and journalistic integrity to rebuild trust in the face of misinformation. Ensure that all information present is accurate and well verified. Provide journalists ongoing training to face evolving technologies and audience preferences. So next maintain standards. So in this competition, I think somewhere the print media is not able to focus on editorial standards. They are somewhere given up on making some adjustments. So ensure that digital content at the same high standard objectivity that define print publication. Use your print publication logo, name, establishment, brand identity, trust and recognition in the digital space. So next digital transformation. Print media outlets are increasingly shifting to digital formats and online formats, offering online subscriptions and expanding the presence on social media. So all newspapers have their digital presence now. The only thing is they are not being able to match up to the full-time digital media organizations. So I think we have to focus on the content media outlets need to adapt and content to digital audiences, focusing on internet engaging content. So some newspapers have already started like Hindi started it. They even other newspapers they give you a QR code using which the readers can also view our videos on that on particular story. So then develop first strategies. So since most of the readers or consumers depend on mobiles news. So I think the register has prioritize websites and content to cater to these numbers of accessing news on their smartphones. So diversing the revenue streams. explore subscription models, implement paywalls or subscription-based access to content generate revenue. Most of the English states they already have paywalls and subscription-based access. With some newspapers like the Hindu, even to pay read the news on website, you have to pay. So only the first two paragraphs for the first first 2 months I think is free. Later everybody needs to pay, and that's a good idea, and that is how newspapers can generate revenue. So the other alternatives could be exploring opportunities like crowdfunding, membership, sponsored content, and events to diversify income. Many newspapers have already started doing, even Prajavani has started doing it. So they organize events to engage the consumers or readers, which is a good thing, and it also generates a lot of revenue. So leveraging technology. So AI has has posed a real challenge to the traditional media. So all newspapers are I think have to keep pace with this new technology, or it will be very difficult for them to survive. And they have to monitor the trends. Next slide. They have to monitor the trends of emerging technologies in the media landscape. Embrace advantage of digital media. So interactive engagement. Utilize interactive like posts, with comment section, social media interaction, posters, audio engagement. Targeted reach. Use digital analytics and targeting capabilities to specific demographies and interests, align with your audience. Some users have already started it, especially the started. The reporters know which stories will get more readers or more clicks, and that will help the reporters or journalists to work on more and more stories. Multimedia content. So the traditional media has to start incorporating videos, podcasts, and other media formats to enhance the experience to get different learning styles. Develop hybrid strategy. Next slide. Promote your digital content through your publication, vice versa, to drive traffic and engagement across both platforms. Many have already started doing this. I think in the coming days, it will gain momentum. Bundled subscriptions. Offer bundled subscriptions with both print and digital access, providing value to readers and generating revenue. Complement and develop digital content complementing your print publication, such as behind the scenes tour, extended interview, and interactive maps. Adapting to digital landscape, mobile optimization. Ensure the digital platform mobile friendly and optimized for various devices. Search engine optimization is already been happening. Implement search engine optimization strategy to improve your website visibility with search engine results. This is happening when you open the Google, you get the story to read, which is interesting to you. That comes on top. The algorithm set in such a way. Social media marketing. Utilize social media platforms to promote your content, engage with your audience, and build a community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vinci. I know most of the things what you said on challenge solution what media is facing today. And now stage is over for question and answers. I will begin with my question first. My question is to Professor Nanjundaya as well as to Mr. Vinci. All we content creators,
because monetization is at the end of the alien object or the internet of that is where truth suffers. That is to say that it is very people have found that it is very easy to get away and still monetize the content, even by spreading fake news, but not even by, especially by spreading fake news. So if then what happens is that it's like saying that you don't have to stop at the red light. Right? So if I have a choice of not stopping at the red light, would I stop at the red light? It's very unlikely. So the story now is that you can get away by spreading fake. So nobody is there to stop you. Why is nobody there to stop you? It's because most countries do not have laws against fake. That's why. There is nothing to prevent you from spreading fake news because it's not illegal. It's only unethical. People do unethical stuff every single day. So why would they not monetize it? And you're getting a bit of it out. So it's very easy to do that. And that is why this question that I asked keeps coming back to me, which does matter. That means to say that are we giving the truth? Because monetization is so easy by telling the dramatic stuff, right? Most of the fake news happen dramatic. And that's for a reason. That is what attracts the eyeballs. If I were to have an AI agent which can catch face and say, no, this cannot be regulated, that would be the way that you can bring back truth. One way that he mentioned is already there, which is to bring back credibility to the right processes in print and same going digital. Like from the Indian Express to also have a digital platform. Obviously, it's much more credible than somebody who's not the Indian Express. Some platform we've never heard of. We don't trust it because we are invested in the truth. What happens if I'm not invested in the truth? Then I keep watching that. It doesn't mean that trust the platform, but trust and truth both take a beating at the hands of monetization.
Exactly. So we what is your and also survival of media organization is a big question. Also survival because people like it, fake, truth is always real and maybe people want fake news and that's what we are delivering. That you're doing.
Just to add what Sir said, if the intention is just monetization, then I think most of us will not have any problem. But the dangerous thing is using fake news to spin agenda, propaganda, and false insight. I think the most dangerous thing from the fake system is
Exactly. Now, stage. Thank you. Stage is for questions now. I request to ask questions. Please introduce yourself and ask the question briefly.
Hello everybody in the panel. I'm Nanda Gopal, visiting faculty Nico. I have a very fundamental question because the words that are here in this discussion is about storytelling, it's about truth, it's about fake news, compromises, ethic and unethical. So my fundamental question is there any ism left in journalism? And if so, how much? All the three of you.
When I get information, I just don't rush into putting it out
The credibility I'm sure most of the youngsters, most of you would definitely knows that the credibility of traditional is much higher than that of digital. I hope this is a feedback by and large I have got. And that's because that's because qualified journalists in traditional media. In digital media, anybody is a journalist. And here there's something called something which needs to be retained, which needs to be introduced pretty fast. So media hosts is responsible for the news they publish. They can't just say that we just got information. Whereas idleness there is such safeguard in digital media and I think the point what she mentioned, I'm just waiting for that one to elaborate more on that. Like fake news is one thing. Like fake news is not detected. So that accounts for why one is like why the other one. But negativity is negative. Let's face facts.
I think the idea that fake news is undetected is a transient phenomenon. I still feel that the technocrats are brilliant enough. They have been brilliant enough to have been cautious about everything else so far, right from the earliest technology to today. So I'm sure they're enough to bring out a solution that can detect fake news. The problem is what do they want? The problem is what politicians want. Like you were talking about agenda. Sorry, I should have mentioned that in the beginning. That by the way, agenda is also monetized, and it is monetized in various ways. I mean, the franchise, the voters' franchise, is a monetization also. So there's a lot to be said about what agendas we are setting by our wittingly or unwittingly, right? With our content. The ism that you don't want to listen to, or you don't want to hear, is activism. That's positive ism that we have. The other ism that you might frown at is what I would like to name as technologism, because it seems to be the case that technology seems to have usurped our world from us to the extent that technology becomes the holy grail. Technology has become the goal. Students here realize that learning an app is their end goal. They're using it for fun. They're using it most important. That's the other thing about fake. I think it's fun. It gives you a lot of like sometimes schadenfreude, but also a lot of joy to spread something and watch people consume something that's fake, and you're laughing at right?
It's like viewing prime time news channels as entertainment rather than news channels.
Which is what I was saying about viewership versus trust. It doesn't mean that I trust something just because of viewing it. I'm laughing at that person. I don't think memes were ever created for news journalists like him. Never we have created about him. But news anchor, sure. I mean, all over the place. The most memified person we ask me. So
The nation wants to know actually.
Wants to know. The point is that I mean, just picking on him, but there are both sides of the fence. There are several people who are land all the time. So is technology guiding our message or message guiding our remains one very concerning question in our day because of technologism and the activism that's not been able to contain it. Because I think that if the technology is guiding us message, I think correction is in the offing because the people who are creating this technology and these guys running after it, they are not creating it. The creators are the technologists who are not what these guys are taught. Right? They know about it. They know about laws and so forth. But the technologists who are working
Can we get questions from students now? Because
there's one more ism in our state, Kerala. There's something communism.
Sir, you can go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nayan, President of Bangalore, and I'm pursuing my bachelor's in mass communication, and I'll be graduated in a month or two. So since we have been talking about fake news, misinformation, and everything, so one thing that I feel is since we're talking about the digital area, everyone has a smartphone, and everyone there is something called citizen journalism that evolved now. So anyone with a smartphone, just make a reel or make a video and just put online and they have journalists. So there is no more credibility or accountability in that. And the fact also that there is no law in place to prevent or take action against someone like spread fake news or anything. Like for instance, if I put up a saying some information I'm putting it up, even though it's fake, I will get views. People are to like my content. That will be taken as fun, even though the harm already done. Even if it's proven to be fake later, the harm is already done. Majority of people might actually trust what I said is that now we have influencers and everything. So my question is to all three. What is your take on this concept of journalism, and how is it going to actual journalism? And because we have been learning about principles of journalism, ideals of journalism, accountability, truthfulness, integrity, all those things. But nowadays, unfortunately, we cannot see that in practice because of like every coin has two sides. Technology has benefited us, it has given some backlashes. So what is your take on this concept of journalism in context of fake misinformation?
Hello. Atulya. The role of fake journalism, the role of citizen becoming journalists, you have already seen it happening during COVID, and you know how devastating it can be. And both of them have spoken about lack of accountability, or like there's nothing to stop this from. And I would say, I don't know how many of you agree with this. COVID has done 60% harm. Remaining 40% has been done by fake news circulating. Every digital media used forwards like testing version coming, it is shouted in China, this, that. No, there was no safeguarding this type of information freely all around, right? So, as there's a lot of damage, and Sir highlighted also, just no safe, there's nothing stop a person from sharing. Whereas here, you ask Vincent, if he writes something there, he's answerable for that. So he make sure what is published is authentic. So unless and happens, I think this case will continue. Journalism is not recommended by me, others.
No, but then, just interruption. Not only citizen journalism, the mainstream media itself, especially electronic media, is spreading fake news. Then what do you expect from journalism?
Absolutely. But let's not leave youngsters without hope. And I think citizen journalism started out. Actually, so the concept of citizen journalism, unfortunately, is a little bit of way out as a tone. Especially influencers came and all that started happen. I used to watch a show by a friend of theirs, IBN, called Citizen Journalism Show. That kind of fizzled out. What the channel used to do that, especially Anuba as she used to do it, was to train citizens in how to report. So citizen journalism is not what we I think that's the notion here is journalism is not every citizen just putting it out there and calling it journalism. The way that I mean at that time got taken over was that they would empower citizens as representatives of the community, like village. Give us villages. Right? Villages are large, invisibilized. Have you heard of a person P-Sign? Okay, some of you have. P-Sign is an activist, journalist, and write fantastic book. Everyone loves Route. 1997. In it, he wrote that journalists cover conditions. Journalists only cover stories. Right? So if journalists are not covering who will cover conditions? It has to be person who's in that community. Have we covered all the communities? Of course. But have we covered geography? Yes. So CNN started doing that. And with that what they did was that the editor would set up unlike today when everybody I think everybody thinks they're a journalist. But they are not. People who are trained by journalists to be journalists are citizen journalists. The people who are not are here is what I believe is it. Have students here heard of the theory called third person effect? Anybody? The third person effect essentially means that an issue concerns so much that I understand the problem, but the others don't. That I am intelligent enough, well-read enough, and probably I can see things. I'm just street smart enough to see through things. But I'm really concerned about the other people. This concern for other people is what is our understanding of what people are actually doing. That fact that we think that the others are trusting anything that goes here. The others are trusting fake news. That might not be true. I'm not saying it's not true. But the scholars here might have a perfect opportunity to discover this.
So also my concern about media can be exposed. The owner cannot recruit reporters for all of every. So they should depend on the journalists. Because what happened today is that the videos from journalists.
Exactly. So that is not a concept. The thing is, I was reading a story about the Hath gang rape. So the resolution to that story was local youth interviewed this victim in the hospital as dying. They took a dying statement for the doctor dying statement on this case. And in that she actually blamed the perpetrator. However, what happened was when they tried to put out these things not right, they began the channel for this called Hara Hatras. And they put this video thinking it will get people to understand that. I don't think they were after views, but they were after concern for their own community person. You know how many views it got? Less than 100. So what happens in journalism that well-meaning is your concern. So at that point you have what else is in play? Not citizen journalism. This was not fake. Was it fake? It was a statement. But the police said it's fake news, and it became fake in the mind of people. Because people believe and trusted institution more than they trusted their neighbor. So there is all this kind of thing happening. So it's time for us, you and me, to shed our third person effect and start trusting other people to understand the messages that we are putting out. That doesn't mean we should not monitor.
Exactly.
And that also means that you should try your best to amplify as much as you can.
Question. Is Halima. How to fake news?
controlled by fear, thoughts, calisthenics, or capital in this bit of it.
No, absolutely. Look, fake news is not just false news. You realize that, right? Fake news is also misrepresentation of truth. To hold back some part of the truth. Manipulation of images, for example. It may not be completely fake, false, but you manipulate it. But also giving one sides of stories. To that creates an agenda. Now, let me not get the idea that it's meant to create an agenda. Okay, I will of course I will believe to the fact as well. He's already mentioned that this does happen. How can I prove that there is an agenda when there is fake news happening? So I can because I cannot prove it. I can only observe the outcome, which is that clearly it speaks of something that seems alienate a community and highlight another or something like that. And news has suddenly become very communal or very based on fueling of certain sentiments when the responsible news outlets often will not do it. That you are a very important point here of responsibility.
This I mean market to the exception of what Vincent mentioned. It has to monetize. But otherwise, just direct marketing involved in a journalistic story. For a brand, it keeps its eyes on the ROI. It has to monetize. So that is there. Indigenously, lot of factors was happening, if you ask. Yeah, that's my take. Come again.
Tata Group, after capture headlines on the idea, they have given us
Again, that has come there. It's so nice done, the brand woke up the moment it moved to Tata. That is part of the same trust what Shashi was talking about. Tata is about trust. That company is about trust. That reflects the communications and immediately we could see the difference. But there is some subsidiaries that are there which they want to take off for some.
So we also have social pushing time.
Hi everyone, my name is Alka. I'm a third year BA student. My question is Dr. Nitte. You touched upon now there's news influencers like Judah and others. Is there an element in relying on them as primary news sources or are they mere supplements to traditional news sources?
This is why they are called influencers. They're not news people or media houses. And they don't pretend to be. Actually, if you look at it, and I'm sure you're probably have look at the comments on the YouTube channel. Most of the people mistake them for journalists. They are former journalists. They are not journalists now. They are commentators. But their journalistic brain never stops working. They are just the same way. But they're not for the function of a journalist at that particular moment. They might be addressed right from the role of opinion editor. But that's about it. And they recognize it. They never claim to be a journalistic channel. So if I mean, as primary news source, I would rather trust a commentary channel that also bases itself on news. You get my point? That would I rely on a journalist, a former well-known journalist, or somebody of course who might take his credibility on the channel itself? Would I rather not rely or trust that person to give me news in its credibility content on the YouTube channel, on the commentary channel? Also, so if they are taking off, like Rajdeep take off on, he had a big, very fine speech the other day. I was like taken aback. This is Rajdeep. He is my colleague. I've never heard of him like that. So he can do that, but he still bases most of his stuff, although he got it trouble of one of them, on something that he personally would have verified. 2, 3 sources, whatever they have their own. Similarly with Ramesh, right? Like you can hate person, but is the news that they are giving credible? I would say yes. So to just complicate your question.
Can I add something here about news influencers? There is a secondary effect which develops during the course of time. Not by virtue of being straightforward and giving news also, not giving the sheer influence, the sheer effect they create on screen, especially on screen. He mentioned just now. He was just thinking about one is Rajdeep and one is Arnab. Arnab has this fan following. Whatever he speaks, whether you accept it or not, people listen to him because of the sheer conviction of the delivery. Very basically it's all saying, shall I talk now? You start talking, when did you stop? So that fan following is a celebrity happening. So which actually rubs off on the facts. I mean, this is my own take.
stage. Given the challenges that the traditional media is facing because of the digital shift and the growing trend of the majority of our generation choosing not to engage with news actively, how do we get youngsters to participate and build an informed society?
First, to answer to Alka's question, raw news can flow from anywhere. It could be influencers, it could be just a WhatsApp status. I could get it from any. I can get it from anywhere. But it is a journalist's responsibility to use that piece of information to put it in the right perspective, to verify it, cross-check it, and more than that, to make out whether it is really required, whether it is a real news or not. So it is a journalist's job to do that. So most of them, what they do is, so much competition, we get links from our head office. So just work on this, just check whether it is true or not. So most of the journalists, or some of the journalists, what they do is they just don't verify, don't cross-check, they'll just put out a story on that. That is more damaging. So many serious journalists or a credible journalist will not be in a hurry to put out a story. No, he'll verify, cross-check, and put that story in the right perspective. And to answer your question, as I already said, people have to take the lead. So when people take the lead and keep shutting the doors on fake news and misinformation, then credible news will thrive.
Thank you. Last question, because
Yeah, I think her question is answered, right? On traditional media. She had asked one question. Traditional media has been sidelined, for sure, by digital. That, I think that was the point you were trying to. There is a challenge, yeah. Engaging people for traditional media.
what she's asking is, the students are not going to journalism. They're going to go somewhere else. Not
I would interpret it as they are not actually disengaged from news. They have their own mechanism of getting news without getting into dailies and traditional media. That's the main difference. You have a very fast gadget with you, which talks to you most of the time, all the time actually. So you are in the comfort zone, you don't feel like moving out of it and getting into. Now all the Rona Dhona serials in television, all the news items appearing in dailies, none of those things are being looked at by youngsters. So that will continue because this generation is a different material. So probably Shashira can elaborate.
Sure. So participatory communities today. Communities are